Adam Avalos, how you doing today, brother?
What is up, my brother?
Not much, man. How have things been?
Hey, man, things are good, man. Just out here at the office doing a little work. Angie's here, another awesome agent. And yeah, we're
Nice.
just grinding away on a Tuesday.
Did you mow that wall right before this live? It looks
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I brought my hedger. I hedged it up. Looks real good. Nice and plush.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have to water it probably pretty often, I would assume, huh?
Yeah. This one's actually very drought tolerant right here. The drought tolerant species.
That's good. People won't complain now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing. So, man, you've been just killing it lately, right?
Well, I don't know. Some people's definition might, be different than others, I suppose. Some people killing it more, some people a little bit less. I just am grateful for whatever's been coming my way. That's it. Just grateful for any and all business because you never know where the next one's kind of coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we drive around and I see your signs in Oroville and I see your signs in Loma Rica and everybody's wearing your hat. And I mean, it's wonderful to see like how far you've come.
Yeah.
In just a year and a half,
Yeah, I kind of subscribe to like a little bit of a Grant Cardone theory, I think, just kind of trying to be like everywhere as like omnipresent as possible.
Right.
Get my face out there. Probably a lot of overkill. I think about this a lot. Like when I'm doing this stuff or when I'm kind of blasting myself everywhere, I think, man, if I wasn't watching this and I was somebody else, would I think this is a little cringy? And I think yes, I would. But it's just it's how I'm trying to get business. I'm hustling. Definitely wanting to get my face out there. And so that's just one of the routes I'm going to try to get it.
And I tell you what, I mean, when it comes down to sharing live content and marketing yourself, if people don't want to listen to what you have to say or they're not interested in buying a property, they're going to keep scrolling.
Yeah.
The people that are interested, I mean, if they want you to list their property, they're probably going online and investigating who you are to see if they know, like, and trust you yet. Right.
Yeah.
So, I was always between my own ears, like growing up in real estate here the last 7 years, that marketing too much, it's going to annoy people. And then I realized that nobody really cares. Like they either like you and they want to do business with you, or they like you and they listen to all your stuff, or they don't listen to anything and they don't look at it. And so, I mean, as long as you're keeping your message positive, I think you're on the right track, brother.
Yeah, I think it's been cool. Like, certain people, everybody that I've known in the past is been really cool and supportive. Some people, I'm sure they're like, hey, this is Adam overkill. I didn't sign up for this for my social media feed. And I'm sure, some of them have, unsubscribed to my story, unsubscribed to my page or whatever. But it's been really cool seeing some of the people that I grew up with and some of the people that I'm close with and certain family members be very supportive. Like those people that have been very supportive have been awesome. Strangers that I guess, whatever I'm putting out there, for whatever reason, gravitate towards me. And those people have been like some of the most awesome people that I've met in the last few years. And so, I can't really worry about, the people who think it's a bit too much and the people who don't like the content. Like Grant Cardone famously says, they're not buying anything from me anyways, or they're not going to utilize my service. Anyway. So, sorry.
I bet your parents at least are just super jazzed that you're always on the computer and they can see your stuff,
My mom and dad, I mean, everybody in my family is real supportive, even my like in-laws and stuff. But my mom and dad, they're Facebookers, and they've been super supportive of me. My mom, my grandma, my sister, those three people especially, they share my posts all the time. My mom works at Enloe Hospital in Chico, and she'll tell me like, somebody will walk up to her, like another RN, and they'll be like, oh, I saw your son on a video or something like that. And they like know me a little bit, not famous or anything. I'm just saying, like,
no, but that's what you want.
The power of like social media is real. And
Right.
it's just an avenue that almost all of us use. And Facebook and Instagram being kind of like linked together these days is a very powerful, the metaverse.
Right.
And yeah, if you put enough stuff out there and enough people around you share it, it's going to get to people one way or another.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, your mom's going to work and her coworkers are like, "Dude, I saw your son." So now her coworker knows what you do, and her coworker makes a good living. She works at the hospital. She's a nurse,
Yeah.
right? And when they decide that they need to transact business, they're going to be like, "Oh, wait a minute. Adam Avalos sells homes. I'm going to talk to him."
Yeah.
It's
Hopefully
happening. That's
yeah,
happening.
that's kind of
It's
the
happening
goal.
now. You might as well just put it out there. That's going to happen. Um, as far as you know, when people want to, I don't know, unfollow me or unfriend me on Facebook, at this point in the game, you get to a point where you're pushing that 5,000 friend mark, and all of a sudden, I get the perspective of who cares, right? Because now that person who obviously doesn't care about me at all got out of the way, and I can include somebody into that network that you know potentially does want to listen to what I have to say and does want to like learn from me or buy a home through me or whatever. So I think it's really interesting too to hear that your mom works at the hospital. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
like I know that you used to work at the hospital
Yeah.
here in Marysville, right?
Yeah, I worked there for 17 years. My mom was the one that got me the job there. My very first job at the hospital, I was a
Yeah.
transportation orderly back when I was 19 years old. I was doing like this sheetrock job and it sucked. And I told
Oh,
my mom, I came home one day and I was like, I'll do anything at the hospital, like anything.
you
And
were
she
just
said, All
hanging
right, well,
sheetrock?
I wasn't hanging it. I was even less than that. I was like a grunt, just like taking it from place to place for the hangers to hang it.
That's
Like
so
I'd been,
crazy.
yeah, but it was like back-breaking work. I mean, at the time I
I
was
bet.
19, pretty, like in pretty good physical shape or whatever. And
Right.
man, that did get you strong. There's no doubt about it. But I was just coming home beat up every day. Wasn't making very much money. I think it was like $8 an hour or something like
So you're
that.
just coming home exhausted.
Yeah, it was destroying my truck because my clothes would be filthy and I'd get in my
Mm,
truck and
yeah.
it wasn't worth it. And so I told her, get me a job there. So for probably about 5, 6, 7 years, me and my mom worked at the hospital together.
Mm,
And that was really, really cool. She's an RN.
yeah.
My sister's an RN. My brother's wife is an RN, and they
Yeah.
all work at Enloe in the ICU. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
And
pretty
then
cool.
your dad was newspaper man, right?
He was a newspaper man and he just retired from the newspaper not too long ago. I believe like about a year and a half ago. And
Right.
now he works at Enloe. He's like
No
retired,
way.
but he got like a part-time job. My dad's one of those guys. He's a busybody. He needs to
Right.
be working. He can't stay home all day. So he got a job as like a courier. So
Yeah.
um and now he's in charge of, because of his press experience. That's what he used to do at the newspaper. He ran the big press machine that prints out the newspaper.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
because of his press experience, he is like going to be in charge of like printing out all the Enloes, like rebranding itself in Chico. So
Right.
he's going to be in charge of printing all that stuff out. So
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, I love your family, dude. When I met them at your
Yeah.
that barbecue thing that you set up, remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just so nice to hang out and like that was a special time, man. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Have you done any more events like that?
Oh man, I don't think I've done any events like that. That was a yard sale. Just I definitely need to do more events like that.
They're fun.
Things.
Did you
Yeah,
get a lot of leads from it?
yeah, I did. It was a good experience. I was probably a little more green, and
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I don't know, like it's just for me. It's always everything is gradual. I wish I could just rip the band-aid off, and I wish going back, like when I first started, I'd just be like, hey man, let's just dive into this real estate thing
Just
here.
head
But
first, right?
yeah, but I'm just different. I feel like I need to gain confidence as I go, as I get more
Right.
experience. And so yeah, I probably blew some big opportunities there on things that I would go back and do a little bit different. But yeah,
That's
you
why
live and you
that's
learn.
that's why you do it again,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then just change some stuff up,
Yeah, absolutely.
tweak it a little. I am one of those people that's just, and I wasn't at first, right? Steve McCarthy really had his work in front of him when we met. But
Yeah,
now I'm like, yeah, let's go head first into the deep end. I don't mind. Like, I know for a fact that it's going to be uncomfortable. Big deal. Like, when I was super comfortable all the time, I also was super broke. So, I'd rather be marginally uncomfortable, super uncomfortable, and enjoying life and enjoying, a healthy bank account and, excited kids that are having fun and, you know, a lifestyle that I built instead of somebody else's building.
yeah. You want to
So
hear? Go ahead.
go
Go
for it.
ahead.
No, you
Oh, I
go.
was gonna tell you. I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking about, do I want to tell them about this or not? I think it's important because, like, it was a learning lesson for me, and might help somebody else out. It was something that I learned the hard way a little bit. But like, so, there's this neighborhood here in North Yuba City that I kind of farm, and this
Mhm.
is just like a little story. It's kind of a loss. It's not really a win. It's a loss, but
Yeah, it's good though.
hopefully I'll be able
Experience.
to turn it into a win and learn from my mistake.
Yeah.
So I farm this neighborhood all the time. There was a house with some storage pods out in front of it. I went over there. Nobody was home, and so I did the right thing. I put a flyer on the door. I left a message in the Ring video doorbell.
Right.
Didn't call them or anything. Should have done that. But so, anyways, so the other day I was driving by that same house. This was probably about a month ago, and I was driving by, and all the family was outside, and they were
Mm.
moving things into the storage boxes. So I knew I was supposed to get out and talk to them. I
Should have.
knew I
Yeah.
was supposed to, but I didn't get out and talk to them. I was a little bit, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it that day. Like some days you feel like verbally, I feel on it, and some days I'm kind of like, I just like, I don't know, I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt and like I don't
Yeah.
know, I just not feeling it today. So I just drove past. I said, I'll get them next time or something.
Right.
Um, anyways, so fast forward to like a week ago, that house got listed
Yeah.
by somebody else in EXP, thankfully. But I ended up doing the open house there this Saturday.
Okay.
So as I was there at the open house, I was super happy for the person that got the listing. They're on the Tom Daves team, Valerie Jennings. She is an awesome agent, super sweet.
Right.
But I couldn't help but thinking, like, this potentially could have been my listing. I could have went over here and at least threw my hat in the ring and talked to this person. And so, anyways, I don't know what the point of this was, except for, like, we have to get more comfortable doing things. I wasn't
Right.
comfortable to do it that day. I should have stopped and talked to him. I asked her later. I said, "How did you get this listing? I just have to know. It'll eat me up all night. Like, I have to know."
Yeah.
And they said they got it off of a radio ad. Tom Daves apparently does a
Yeah.
lot of radio ads, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe a face to face with me could have changed some
It,
things. I'm
it
super
might have.
happy that they got the listing. It's just kind of a lesson learned there.
Yeah.
Stop the car. Don't be afraid.
You might have gone up and they might have been like, dude, what are you doing in your Star Wars shirt? That'll never
Yeah.
happen. Nobody will ever care that you're wearing a Star Wars shirt. You're
Yeah.
driving around, you're not intending to do real estate that day. You just happen to see some people moving some stuff into a moving container.
Yeah.
Of course, you didn't have time to run home and put on your 3-piece suit like we all do, right? Do you ever do that? I don't.
This is about it. This is as clean as I get.
I haven't worn a suit since I left corporate security.
Yeah.
I'm done wearing someone else's image, right?
Yeah.
And you might have gone up to that house and talked to them, and they might have been like, yeah, list it. Or they might have already had a listing agreement
Yeah.
and the
True.
agent helped them get the pods and get everything going.
True.
So you don't know. You might have missed an opportunity. You definitely learned from an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So that's value right there. As long as you're learning new stuff and moving forward into the future instead of backwards or to the side, then you're doing all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to build at the speed of everybody else. You just have to build your business at the speed you need to build your business out.
For sure.
As long as it supports your family and makes your heart happy, you're good to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So your first year, you made a couple sales, right?
Yeah, it was pretty rough though. I mean, it was no doubt it was pretty rough.
I remember having a few conversations with you where you're like, man, I think I might be able to like just work at the hospital still part-time. Like, you remember that?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think it, uh, sometimes when I used to work at the hospital, we would do like, when I first got the job there, we would do like procedures, and
Mm.
there would be like all these instruments and stuff, and then whatever kind of procedure you were doing.
You were a
uh,
surgical tech, right? For those
yeah, that's
that
what
are
I was.
listening.
I was a technician
Yeah.
at the hospital, and so there'd be all these utensils and apparatus here, and I remember thinking, man, I need to learn all this. And you're working with a doctor, or a surgeon, or whatever it may be, and they're expecting you to know all this stuff for it
Right.
to come off real quickly. And I remember one day, like we were doing a procedure, and then it clicked to me. It wasn't like just like, hey, this utensil, I need to hand it to him at this time, and this utensil, I need to hand
Mhm.
it to him this time. It was more like, I understand what the doctor is trying to do. And then it was like everything clicked for me. And I was like, okay, now I know why he wants this, and when he wants this, and
Yeah.
how he wants this handed to him. And it all made sense. I feel like that was kind of it for real estate. Like, I was kind of coming in every day thinking like, why won't somebody just call my phone and
Yeah.
ask me to sell their house? But I wasn't really understanding like what type of services I need to provide, and then what I
Right.
need to do on a daily basis to get that business. And so once it kind of clicked, it's
Yeah.
like now, regardless whether I get however many deals in the next 6 months, I know that I can come here to the office or wherever I'm at, and I can do the things that will generate deals. Like, I
Right.
know what to do on the daily basis a lot more than I did, just because I understand the process of it, and
Right.
who I need to be for somebody to want to use me to help them buy or sell a home.
Sure. I think that's such a great analogy to talking about what you knew from the hospital and comparing it to what this is, because when you first start in real estate, it's tough, man. Like, nobody knows who you are. Why are you calling me? Why are you interrupting my day? You know, you don't know how to overcome the objections, and there's only one way to really figure that out, right? You got to just pick up the phone and do it.
Yeah.
You gotta get out of your truck and go talk to that family moving the stuff
Yeah.
into the moving pods, right? I I sympathize with you on that because I see them all the time, and I'm either too busy or, like you said, you're just not in the mood to, have a conversation with some people that you don't know,
Yeah.
right? You're not in the same mindset that you usually would be if you're making phone calls or door knocking. So, I think that's somewhere where we can both grow. I'll start hopping out of the car every time that I see those, and we'll see how it shakes out. See if it builds our business. But you know, it was such a cool transition once it clicked for you. Like, I would go to the office, and at first it was like just a whole bunch of doubt. Like, you're doubtful that you were going to stay in this career field, right? And then you started showing up every day in the morning. And I barely ever go to the office, by the way. Uh, you know, because I work from home because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. For
that's
sure.
where I make the most money is from home.
Yeah.
Uh, when I go to the office, I like to, go to the office and teach for the McCarthys when they're out of town or something. But it's usually because we want to, stop in and say hi, or we have something that we need to urgently do there.
For sure.
But you're going into the office, I mean, 8 to 5, right?
Yeah, sometimes I get there a little later than that, but yeah, I like to 5 for sure. So, but
Right.
yeah, usually around 10 or so, I'm rolling
Okay.
in here.
Right. And you're driving out here from Biggs. It's not like
Yeah,
you live
it's not right down the street, that's for
right.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do once you get to the office, Adam?
Oh man, I was afraid you were going to ask me this question, because I feel like I'm like, I've talked to Steve a lot, good friends with Sonny, good friends with
Yeah.
you. we've talked a lot about calendars and stuff. So if you're looking for the right thing to do, close your ears right now. If you're like a realtor, you're thinking, hey, like should I emulate what Adam does? No, but what I do is I do make a plan. Usually the day before, I have like a sticky pad like this,
Yeah.
and then because things will come to me as I'm sitting there at the office, and
Sure.
then so I write a note like, this is what I need to do tomorrow. Like I want to put this listing on Facebook Marketplace, or oh, I need to call so and so and
Right.
follow up about this particular thing. And but when I come in every day, I probably should utilize my calendar more, but that seems a little daunting to me. I'm just like, I know how to use a calendar.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I know. I could lie on the thing, or I could just tell you the truth. So
Hey,
what I
no, and that's I want the truth. If this is the way that you live by the calendar and it's effective for you,
Yeah.
then it
Like
works.
I definitely put things in my calendar. I have a few appointments right after this that I have to
Yeah.
do. But for me, this is gonna sound so bad, but it's just so much more enjoyable to be like, I'm coming into the office and I'm just gonna do real estate stuff for
Yeah.
like for me, I don't know what everybody else's hours are, and people can probably like get up in the morning and bust this out for like 3 hours and get twice as much work as I do done in a 6 hour period. So the only thing I know for me is just be consistent, come in, do real estate related activities every day. If you could do
Right.
it on Saturday, if you could do it on Sunday too, that's great. And so I know I'm not the most organized person. I know I'm not the most on task person. So for me, the only way that I feel that I can stay relevant in this real estate game is just by putting more hours towards it than
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people will. And that's kind of what I do. I come in, I do real estate related
Right.
activities.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
and consistently over time every day.
that's
And
it.
I
That's
think
it.
that's really the key is consistency. If you're like we went to build I think a couple years ago it was, and Brent Go was like, if you're really good at open houses, do open houses really well. If you're really good at calling people on the phone, do that and do it well and do it consistently. And that's something that really is stuck in my head is that, you know, when I consistently do something like these lives, I'm consistently doing these. I have 3 this week,
Uh,
right? When I have freed up time,
oh,
we
did the
can.
good.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I just kind of lost you for a second, but
Oh, it's all good.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good. But yeah, no,
But
consistency. Yeah, I definitely am. Like, people are telling me you got to have a calendar. It'll make, and I totally get it. If I did that, I would definitely see a lot more,
it was a
action.
it was a
For,
game changer for me, but some people I know that they use the calendar that the title office sends over, and
yeah,
they still write everything out. To me, that's the same thing. You're still living by the calendar.
yeah.
It's just
I
not
think
your
like
phone.
I guess sometimes it's like, like I'll get to the office and like maybe I should be calling a bunch of people that day. But then maybe I decide, and this is once again, don't listen to me if you're a realtor. Your path is your path. This is just me, and I'll probably be more successful if I listen to people above me and with the calendar thing. But like maybe I get to the office and on the docket should be a bunch of calling and maybe prepping for an open house. But I get there and I just don't feel like getting on the phone. Then that's probably
No.
bad me. But
Yeah.
so I say, hey, rather than wasting a day today, I'm going to make some YouTube content, or I'm going to get a flyer ready for something that I'm doing, or I'm going to try to establish a connection with some prominent business leaders in town. So like for me, days days usually start off with a plan, but it's
Mhm.
not uncommon for me to pivot midway through. That's
Right.
just me.
Angie says hi, by the way. If you can see it on
Oh,
your
hi,
screen.
Angie. Yeah, Angie's in the other room. She said she was gonna. I told her, don't make me nervous, Angie.
Well, that's awesome, man. What else do you want to cover today?
Nothing, man. I just I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you, giving me a platform, bringing me on here. I mean, to
Absolutely.
me, I'm like so humbled to be like just everything, man. In the office, you, Steve, have always been very gracious with your time to me. I really appreciate it. Not the type of people that withhold any secrets. I mean, you
No.
literally tell me anything that you think that will help the business. Steve as well. Sonny's a good friend. Happy to be over that he's over here as
Yeah.
well. Angie has just been. I guess I don't know why that you said what we want to talk about, but Angie, I got to give props to her. She is a great real estate agent all the
Yeah.
time, but the
Oh,
last like 6 months, she knows it. She's been crushing it. She's been on her stuff, and she is a force. Like Angie
yeah.
is she's a great realtor in this area, one of the best, and
Yeah.
I'm enjoying working alongside her, kind of seeing how she works, and
Right.
yeah, it's been helpful for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. We love Angie to death. Like we both have daughters that are the same age. And so we end up at Angie's house at least once a year for a birthday party or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's tearing it up, man. I love it. And I love that everybody's just being more intentional and consistent. That's how this business grows. If you're just intentional and consistent daily, you're going to find success at some point.
Yeah.
You know, is it frustrating when you don't have anything in escrow? Yes, you're essentially unemployed. So maybe try to get and sustain those escrows. And that's where I hear you. When you're not in the mood to make phone calls, it's tough because when you get on the call and you're in a bad mood, they can feel it. And that's when I get negativity from making phone calls, it's when I'm in a bad mood.
Well, and I think
When I
probably,
when I
I
get
think
positivity, it's when I'm hopping on and I'm just having fun and bringing value.
absolutely, and I think some people out there like probably this would be me too. And a year ago, this was old Adam. He would just get in his car and probably go home, or or just not do anything productive that day.
Yeah.
And I guess this Adam can recognize like, okay, maybe this was your plan last night to come to work and conquer this. And yeah, not the best like mindset to have this just switch midway through, but I guess I'm cognizant enough to know myself that I'm like, hey, you were going to do this today, but you're not really feeling it now. Do something else productive. Maybe get in your car, but maybe like go drive for dollars, or maybe go
Yeah.
like door knock today, or maybe do this. Maybe go to the gym and say, hey, I'm going to go talk to 3 people that I've never talked to at the gym. I'm going to go talk to them about real estate. Like,
Right.
just do something so that when you go home tonight, you're like, okay, I made some connections. I made some progress in my business.
Yeah, absolutely. Always do something intentionally consistent.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
yeah.
But,
So just
hey man,
trying to keep the train rolling.
I really appreciate you coming on with me today.
Absolutely, brother.
Stick around for a second.
Yeah, for sure.